Now, Miss Foster, I wondered if you'd answer me one or two questions, please.
I don't mind.
When you entered Councillor Bolton's office, what was Miss Hayes' position in relation to the door? Is it facing it, sideways, or back to it?
Facing it.
And where did that put Councillor Bolton?
Oh, well, behind her, but more sort of side on to me.
So Miss Hayes was between you and whatever he was doing with his hand?
Yeah, I suppose so.
So how do you know he had his hand down her back then, Miss Hayes?
Well, I saw it there, didn't I? Or when she wriggled off her chair.
See. But you didn't actually see his hand until it appeared from behind her.
Well, no.
So it could have appeared from anywhere then, couldn't it, Miss Foster?
Well, not from anywhere. It must have come from down her blouse. Why else should she wriggle about if it weren't down her blouse?
What I want the jury to be quite sure about, Miss Foster, is that you didn't actually see his hand down her blouse.
Well, I couldn't if it were down her blouse, could I? But it couldn't have been anywhere else, could it?
Did you see his hand down her blouse? Yes or no, please, Miss Foster?
No.
Now, about this wriggling you say Miss Hayes did. She was sitting on a typist's chair, wasn't she?
Yeah.
At this point, Your Honour, I should like to introduce as an exhibit the chair in question. Now, Miss Foster, was that the chair Miss Hayes was sitting on?
One like that.
Exhibit 2, Mr. Dean.
I'm obliged, thank you. How much like it?
Dead like it.
Would you step down and sit in it, please, Miss Foster?
Well, it weren't my chair, you know.
Please.
Is this necessary, Mr. Dealey?
It is, Your Honour, to establish a fairly vital point about the security, or conversely, the insecurity of such a chair under certain circumstances. If you'd step down, Miss Foster. Now, Miss Foster, isn't it a fact that the size of that chair allows very little room for manoeuvre? I mean, the slightest assault on your balance would cause you to topple sideways.
I don't know.
We'll try. Would you lean sideways, please? Either way. A little more. Thank you, Miss Foster.
Is that all, Mr. Dealey?
For the moment, yes, Your Honour.
Before you return to the witness box, Miss Foster, Miss Tate, have you any comment to make about this chair? Rather than go through the whole business again when you re-examine, as I presume you will want to do.
No, Your Honour. I don't see the significance of the demonstration at this stage.
No, very well then, Miss Foster, you may return to the witness box.
After Miss Hayes had wriggled away and stood up, you say she left the office.
That's right.
Red in the face, you said?
That's right.
Well, couldn't that have been a result of all these contortions you say she was indulging in?
She was upset.
According to your evidence in chief, it was now that the first words were spoken of any kind.
That's right.
What exactly did Councillor Bolton say to you, Miss Foster?
She was enjoying it till you came in, you silly bitch.
Is Councillor Bolton in the habit of using words like bitch?
No.
He doesn't swear?
No.
He's a clean-spoken man, in fact.
Compared to a lot, yeah, I suppose he is.
Do you use bad language, Miss Foster?
Well, who doesn't?
Well, you've just said Councillor Bolton doesn't.
Well, he definitely called me a bitch.
Now, about this phrase, she was enjoying it, etc. Didn't Mr. Bolton, in fact, say, I've told Jill she can go home. She's having one of her turns.
Oh, he never said that.
Well, Miss Hayes does have days when she's not feeling very well, doesn't she?
Yeah,
Fairly frequently, in fact.
I suppose so.
Tell me, Miss Foster, do you consider yourself an attractive girl?
Well, that's not for me to say, is it?
Well, go on, have a go.
No, not bad, I suppose.
How old are you?
18.
18 and attractive. Boyfriends?
Of course.
Experienced, so far as men are concerned, then, would you say?
Well, I'm no mug. You have to know what's what, or you're in lumber.
Did Councillor Bolton ever impose himself on you?
How do you mean impose?
Make advances, touch you, put his arm round your waist, etc.
No.
18, attractive, experienced, yet he never so much as touched your hand.
No.
Yet you're saying you saw him with his hand down the back of a girl who, according to her mother, is quiet and reserved. It hardly makes sense, does it, Miss Foster?
Well, he knew what he'd have got from me. He's not daft, you know.
Well, don't you like men making passes at you, Miss Foster?
Not him, I don't.
Why, don't you like Councillor Bolton?
No.
Because he didn't make passes at you, perhaps?
Oh, don't be daft. He's old enough to be me dad.
And why don't you like him, then?
Well, it's just a feeling. You get it about some fellas.
And that's why you're telling this court lies about him, is it? Because of a feeling?
I'm not telling lies. I'm telling the truth.
Gillian Hayes joined the staff after you, didn't she?
Yeah.
That she was engaged for the better job.
Well, only because he thought he was onto a good thing with her.
You've told the court her shorthand was better.
Oh, well, yeah, it is. But that's not the only reason he took her on.
Did he tell you that?
Oh, don't be daft.
Did Miss Hayes?
Well, I doubt if she knew. Not at first, anyway.
So, what you're alleging is pure conjecture. Another feeling.
Look, I'm not often wrong. Not about fellas. And for one thing, he's got clammy hands as Councillor Bolton. Clammy hands. That's always a sign.
The case of the Queen versus Bolton will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court.